Gary, a 1-0 victory this afternoon. Left it late, but wonderful possession all the way through the game. Did you actually think the goal was ever going to arrive?
No, and I just said to the boys in there, that's a real tough one to dissect, because if we don't score and win the game, we bemoan about like a lack of quality, because we've dominated possession. Probably, we didn't get the stats, but I'm guessing probably 70%. We've dominated territory, but we couldn't find a way. And obviously, Bedworth come here today with a simple plan of drawing 0-0. And they played 5 at the back, they played 4 in front of the 5, and they played 1, and they let us have it at the back. So that's the possession's probably a little bit false, because they just let us have it. We changed the system probably 2 or 3 times in game to try and get people further up the pitch. But listen, you ain't got to be a genius to realise that pitch out there is very, very difficult to move the ball quickly, and we're having to have 1 and 2 touches and sometimes a 3rd touch before you can get the pass off, and some passes go astray, and the bounce ain't great. We've had a lot of weather on it. That ain't really recovered since the Calcer game, if I'm being honest, with the weather. And that's not an excuse, that's a fact. This is just a fact. The pitch is difficult to move the ball on, and that just makes it hard. That makes it hard for us when you've got to have an extra touch when you're playing a team that you're getting loads of possession against. But what you can't fault is the boys, if even with a little bit of lack of quality or whatever you want to call it, you can't fault the endeavour. We kept going, we kept pushing, we kept getting bodies in the box, we kept trying to put the ball into good areas, we kept landing on second balls, we kept recycling that. So there was a lot of good qualities within the game, but that wasn't as free flowing as what we liked. Like last week when we scored 3 goals early, that weren't as free flowing. But there's a lot of different types to win a football match, and there is I do use the saying sometimes that that's better to be lucky than good. And today we weren't really good, but we was more workmanlike. But we got a little bit of luck at the end with Milne popping up for his 5th goal of the season, which is a good return from a centre half.
Of course, it wasn't easy. You had bad news at the start of the game. You lost 2 players just before kick-off. You only had 3 on the bench, of course, because no contingency really. But fought all the way. You used all 3 substitutes, and they were needed. Yeah,
they was. Obviously, Neo coming back. Obviously, we lost Reece back to Harbour, but I think that's only a short-term thing, so he'll be back with us, hopefully. Rory's got a bit of a problem. Slinny's got a problem. Obviously, Fletch and Spen have now got problems, so be a patch-up week this week. Probably won't do too much, because obviously we've got some big games coming up, and we if we're going to compete with the Corns, the Anstey's, the Long Eatons over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we need our best players on the pitch, and that's no disrespect to anybody else in the squad, but we do need our best players, our best leaders, our best goal scorer on the pitch for sure. So we'll have to assess that. Obviously, that's difficult 10 minutes after a game to know where these injuries are at, but Rory Macaulay don't miss many games, Slinny don't miss many games, Fletcher's never injured, never come off, so they're all a concern for next week. And we've got 1 or 2 other knocks today. There's lads limping about at the end there, but like I say, the heart of the squad can't be questioned. We kept going, and we've won a scruffy one, so really happy with that. Really looking forward to the game next week. Obviously, being realistic, if Corn beat us next week, then that's probably dead for us, because there's not enough games and they're too good a side to drop that many points. And even if we win next week, all we're probably doing is giving it the kiss of life for another few weeks to see how the results go. So we know that's going to be a massive uphill task to try and catch them. We're going to keep trying. You don't never give up. But they're I was speaking to Kane Noble today. He was here watching the game, and their assistant. So they're 70 points at the end of January is just freakish, a freakish amount of points, and fair play to them, well done to them and the management team and the players. But whether we can win the league or not, we're going to go there next week and try and win the game for sure.
To put some more meat on the bones there, they've played 4 games. You've got 4 games to catch up on what they've played, and you've got a 6-pointer next week. So there is some mathematical. Yeah, if they lose 3 games on the bounce, yeah, it could be different. But we'd all want to be in that position at the end of the season to be in the playoffs, or not to be in the playoffs, but to go automatically through. But it looks like playoffs certainly.
Well, if you got to keep going, and you probably need 70 points. I think we've got 54 now, so I'm hoping we get 16 between now and the end of the season. Like I say, we're going to Corn next week to win the game. They're obviously going to try and win the game. If they win the game, that probably put us to bed. So that should be a really good game of football. I'm hoping that's a good game of football. I hope we've got our players fit. That they'll be strong as well. They didn't play today, so they've had a bit of a rest week. They ain't got a game midweek. So, not to say that could be a good game, but I think that's, one that we'll go there and try and win as we try and win every game.
And certainly great win today. Very much last minute, but wonderful win. 3 points and 4 games on the bounce. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much, and on to next week.
Cheers, Gary.